Hi, welcome to Hyperion Hype Club. My name is McKenna and I love the Kingdom Keepers books by Ridley Pearson. Join me as we discuss this series and others published by Disney-Hyperion Books. Let's get into it. Hey guys, welcome to another episode of Hyperion Hype Club. This is kind of like a bonus episode, a review. So if you're interested in reading the new Kingdom Keepers spin-off series, The Inheritance, here are a few of my notes on the first book, The Shimmer. And obviously this is by Ridley Pearson and published by Disney-Hyperion Books. Obviously, because this is Hyperion Hype Club. So first, I want to say that it's best to read the other Kingdom Keepers books and spin-offs first, at least the core series. But let's just get into a few character things. I'm going to try not to spoil anything. I don't feel like any of these are really spoilers. Except for one thing, which I will mention before I say it, and it'll be like the last thing. But okay, so in this book, the original Kingdom Keepers, they're in it, obviously. But they're kind of like lore. No one really knows if they were really a thing, and their kids don't know that their parents were the keepers. Like no one really knows who they were. But it's obviously like it even says on the back the kids are following in their footsteps, which is why it's called Inheritance. So like the new keepers, which is one of the special touches that I love that Ridley Pearson does, the new keepers have like Disney legend names, but it's not obviously like the Disney legends. So you're not reading the character's name and like your mind goes straight to that person. Like if one of them was named Walt, like my mind would just go to Walt Disney, but it gives the chance to make the characters their own. And it's really only something that like Disney nerds would pick up on. But so Blair is named after Mary Blair, the artist, and Blair is also Maybeck's daughter, and Maybeck's the artist of the group. So I thought that was really cool. Marty is named after Marty Sklar, Eli after Walter Elias Disney, and Lily after Lillian Disney. I think it's also cool that the main antagonist in this book is also a descendant of an antagonist from one of the previous books, which I feel like isn't too much of a spoiler since there are 11 previous books. So, and then one minor character mentioned that their mom was a member of a society of explorers. And I'm thinking maybe the Society of Explorers and Adventurers, aka C. I just wanted to throw that out there. Maybe start a conspiracy theory. I don't know. Okay. And then two of my favorite like non-spoiler cutesy things that are just kind of like Disney park nerd things. And these were rumors and wishes kind of that people were talking about mostly I feel at the beginning of COVID. But Ridley Pearson put a Brazil pavilion in Epcot since this does take place in kind of future Epcot. And then the Mexico ride is now Coco's Crossing, which I think is cool. And I'll also take this point to add that it says it in like the summaries, I think, yeah, in the inside summary of the hardback cover, but it says they're living like in and around Epcot, like it's actually a community. They call it the community, at least in the area where the keepers and their families live. So I think that's really cool because that's kind of like a nice spin on Walt's original vision for Epcot. And so there is one big inconsistency between this book and the previous books. And it's a bit of a spoiler, but it's not really about the plot. So I have included it in this. Maddie the fairy who can touch a person and see their story, conversations, etc., is in this book as Lily's mom. And Lily, as a child of a fairy, also has a special ability. She can touch objects and see their past, very similar to her mom's power. But there must have been somewhere along the way Ridley Pearson and his editing team didn't catch this inconsistency, and they put that it was Story Ming who actually had Maddie's ability. So if Story's technically the one in this book with that power, how come she's not Lily's mom? Or did Ridley Pearson like remember Maddie and her ability at the beginning, which is why he gave Lily the ability that she has, and then just forgot and put story in and said it was her ability. I don't know. But if him and his editing teams, it's not all on him. Just remember that it was Maddie who had that ability. They wouldn't have had to bring back and like reintroduce another character, like aka story. I mean, I like that more throwback characters. I think that's cool, but I just had some questions about that. But overall, I really enjoyed this book as a longtime fan of the series and would definitely recommend it. I also think Walt would have enjoyed it, especially Ridley Pearson's details and creativity. So I hope that you guys take the chance to read this book. Definitely be sure to follow this podcast or subscribe if you're watching on YouTube. And all my social media information will be in the description, as well as YouTube or links to all the places you can listen to this podcast. And I will see you guys for the next meeting of Hyperion Hype Club. And stay tuned on social media to find out the first, what chapters the first episode of the Second Kingdom Keepers book will cover. I'm definitely very excited for this one because the main part in it is Animal Kingdom. But yeah, the Shimmer. Read it. Definitely read it. So good. Thank you guys so much for listening to this episode. Please remember to rate, review, subscribe, and follow. Also, please chat with me and other members of this club in the comments of the YouTube video. My other social media information and a link to the Long Distance Sisters podcast I am also part of will be below. Back in a whack.